Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to the Call of Duty world. No green screen today, as I'm sure the more observant of you have noticed. Up in Manchester for a couple of days, staying at a friend's house. Thank you very much indeed for that one. But the laptop is here, that means content is still going to arrive. And there's plenty to dive into today, because OpTic and Methodz seem to be at odds to some degree on whether streams should be, well, whether scrims should be streamed at the present time. Methodz want to do it. The OpTic guys seemingly don't want FaZe to take any of their strats. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button to the best thing you can do. Top of this channel recently, people, please do subscribe as well if you haven't yet already. First of all, this from Zuma, COD needs ranked play and we need it now, right? Of course, we don't know when it's going to arrive. We talked about Scump's opinion on it yesterday, right? How he's kind of waiting for it. Doesn't like 8s right now, but it will. Still no update as of the last 24 hours or so. This also from Crimsix. We saw recently that it seems like a lot of the guys over on the New York subliner side are looking to do some, well, greater content activations and that type of stuff. As Scrim points out, so you guys might know me as Crimsix, but on Thursday, subliners will be releasing the first episode of No Pressure, detailing the stuff you do not see in my life that Ian poured a part of my life. So this is really cool. With that being said, here's a little car tease. So I'm already like, the content's looking great. This is just fantastic. They also said, I'm pretty sure Clayster said, there's going to be a process type thing going on, like a vision type thing, like behind the scenes. So I mean, that already is really exciting, because New York has some great personalities. Seeing more of the behind the scenes is, well, I suppose, good news for everybody. This also, right, rumours coming out the last day or so, not sure if it's actually confirmed yet, that Tom Brady's going to retire from football, and American football, of course. And well, as Scump says, damn, going to miss seeing Brady on the field, what a career. But a lot of people were talking about, kind of as a result of this, like, what happens if Scump retires, right? Like, what is the impact on Call of Duty? Is that the biggest impact that a single player's retirement would have on any esports? Like, certainly you could argue the case, right, for Scump in this case. As Blaz says, Scump's retirement will be bigger than Tom Brady's. This is, of course, an interesting question. Like, I guess in terms of, you know, eyeballs and stuff like this, it's unlikely to be the case. But still, in terms of impact on the sport, that is an argument you can certainly make, right? It is always an interesting one, because when Scump does retire, things are certainly going to change. However, if he can co-stream it on Twitch, for example, let's say he competes for another couple of years, then he retires, and then he goes to like co-stream all the CDL matches on Twitch, he could bring in loads of viewership to the league. He doesn't necessarily have to be, well, leaving the league entirely and having too much of a negative impact. Also, OpTic as a brand is still going to be strong. It's not going to be the same as when Scump was here, though. So I guess we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't happen soon. Of course, Tom Brady's been competing forever, so maybe Scump could do the same. Of course, I mean, Clayster's pushing 30, will be this year as well, so definitely a few more years left in Scump, I would imagine, but still, time will only tell on this front. As Scump says as well, COD is life, right? The first light goes to Standy, so congratulations on this one. This also wanted to go through some scrim results from last night. Boston, of course, they were streaming some scrims. Kind of the main topic we're going to dive into here in a second is exactly what was going on with the scrim that they were meant to have against OpTic, that OpTic seemingly don't want to actually play on stream right now. This is quite interesting, because most teams don't want to stream their own practice, even though, to be fair, Los Angeles Thieves at the start of the year, before the game even came out, I'm pretty sure they were saying they wanted, or they were planning to stream some practice, but it never happened, right? We never actually saw any of the Los Angeles Thieves guys turn on those streams, even though I'm sure the content coming out of that facility and the compound could be really entertaining. But right now it's just Boston. The OpTic guys turned off their streams maybe a month or so ago, or pretty much at the turn of the new year, when they thought, okay, it's time to get our head down for the start of the game. And of course, there are some negatives to streaming practice. Yes, the other teams potentially get to look and see what you're up to, but also, you know, maybe it takes away to some degree from your communication. You can't say exactly what you want to say. You're kind of in that stream mindset, looking at the chat rather than focusing 100% on improving. But I mean, still, that's maybe why teams don't decide to do so. Boston still are, or at least Methodz still certainly is, and that I think has been great for their brand and how they've developed things really over these last couple of months since Boston has really come into play. Methodz especially in his own personal stream. But still, it seems like some of the teams they might be playing against don't want to play against them if they're going to be then broadcast on stream. This could, of course, could have a couple of reasons. Hex's reason we'll dive into here in a second is that, okay, like, we don't want to give you free exposure, right? Because obviously all the OpTic fans want to watch those streams, therefore you're giving Methodz all those views, and Hex is thinking, okay, maybe we shouldn't let him get those views for free. But then probably the OpTic guys are thinking, like, if a team like FaZe is watching these scrims from Boston's POV, they can pick up on some details as to what we're doing on the other side. So these are the scrim results that went down. It was Los Angeles Thieves. No roster changes seemingly as yet, right? Of course, it's unlikely to happen before the start of the season, but still an interesting question raised yesterday as to, well, which team is actually going to change first when the season does begin? Some certainly will. Well, okay, 3-3 this series up against Boston. Both of the controls go the way of Los Angeles Thieves. So in general, apart from the Gavitu, this is what I'm saying, right? Like, I talked about the vetoes the other day between OpTic and Los Angeles Thieves, how I didn't really like the Tusker, I didn't like the Gavitu pick, sorry, from OpTic in that game one, or at least allowing Los Angeles Thieves to get it. I mean, this is the only hard point they win against Boston, right? Yeah, they clearly really like that map. And they also played New York last night. I'm pretty sure this was a couple of days ago now, 4-2 in favour of Boston, splitting the controls and then winning the majority of the hard points. This Bacage, I'm sure, was an absolute blender. And then this map set against Surge, right? Of course, we know that Surge right now are very good in the hard points. They win 3 out of the 4 of them right here, and then they split the controls again. So interesting stuff. But well, then I'm pretty sure last night they were meant to play up against OpTic, and then we see what happens right here. So as Methodz points out, OpTic asked to scrim off stream, so I'll record it and play it on stream later. So this is kind of strange. He then ended up deleting this tweet, right? So I'm not really sure what's going on there, to be honest, because I mean, look, if you scrim off stream and then just play it on stream anyway and kind of watch it back, then surely you know, the same disadvantages that OpTic think they might be getting for streaming in the first place are then going to be got rid of anyway. So I'll share what came out from the Eavesdrop podcast a few days ago now, when Hex and Methodz were talking about this, and Methodz was saying, look, yes, I'm streaming these practices, and OpTic don't want to scrim us because we're streaming them, and they really want to scrim off stream, but he really doesn't think there's too much impact in terms of what FaZe could potentially pick up from it.
That's why I'm streaming scrims right now, is because, like, first off, no one's really doing it. We're trying to grow the brand. I'm trying to grow my brand.
Smart.
People are going to get behind the team more if they can see more of us.
Yeah.
And I know it's a big debate, but, like, the way I thought of it really...
I didn't know you were streaming.
Yeah, I stream scrims every single day. And the way I see
Did
it
you
is
get
like...
blacklisted?
Your team doesn't want to play us anymore.
Yeah, of course not.
But it's only them right now. But, I mean, I guess my mindset is...
I would tell them, do not do that. I'm going to tell you why. Because now you're going to have, you know, the green wall wanting to watch, you know, your specifically so they can do that.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow your opponents. You know what I mean?
So you don't want me to grow?
No, I want you to grow, but I just don't want you to grow off.
I'll grow off you?
Yeah.
So I think their mindset is more like competitive oriented, where it's like they don't want other teams look at, like, you think of it in that lens. I know they're not. They're thinking like, we don't want FaZe to see what we do in this break. I guess
100%.
My mindset is like, what can the fans see from my POV? And I'll like delete my VOD before we even play if they want me to, so no one can go back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
No one's really going to be able, maybe like a few things, but no one's actually going to be able to see what OpTic's doing from my stream.
Right.
Especially in this game. Different games, I'd get it. This game is just like a sprint forward, squad spawns. It's just like, I'm not going to say anything crazy. But this game, I don't think you can actually like watch my stream and be like, oh, OpTic does this. I don't think the game works like that, at least not right now.
So what's your guys' perspective on this, right? If Boston stream their scrims up against OpTic, how much is FaZe or another top team really going to glean from that, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, again, I can understand OpTic not streaming their own practice. There are some disadvantages to that. But on the other side of the station, like, again, yes, the FaZe guys might be watching the Boston streams to maybe kick up on like some opening breaks that the OpTic guys are coming up with. But yes, it's very early in the title. Like, I just think generally in Call of Duty history, there hasn't really been a time where OpTic have turned off the stream and they've actually got better. It just, the correlation doesn't necessarily seem to be there. I think there probably is some correlation with teams that are not streaming their practice and being better, but in history, especially from the OpTic side, we really haven't seen it all that much. So I do think it's kind of strange that the OpTic guys are kind of going out of their way to say, hey, Methodz, you can't stream our practice because we don't want FaZe finding whatever. Now, maybe they are taking the Hex approach to some degree of being like, look, we don't want you to get free viewership from, you know, people wanting to tune in to see how we are getting on. But, I mean, still, or maybe they just don't want all the kind of negativity that can come around when practice is streamed, right, and people get to know how teams are doing, and therefore if a team has a bad scrim set, then people talk about it, right, and how things are going. Like, we now get to see nothing of what's going on with OpTic behind the scenes, apart from some words, some shots and Scump, the things are still going very well in practice. So it is interesting. I don't really know, like the Methodz was saying in that clip right there, like he deletes the VOD or he like deletes it straight away after the fact, so unless they're watching live, there's nothing any guys can do about it really to take so much of what the other team is actually doing. But it seems like OpTic right now don't really want to scrim the Boston guys unless it's off stream, which is a bit of a surprise. And Methodz really doesn't seem to think it's a big deal, and I kind of agree with him on that front, but you guys may certainly have your thoughts in the comment section below. This also from Mack, right, because the Super Bowl is coming up relatively soon, middle of February sometime, and I think it's on a Sunday. This actually clashes with some of the CDL games. Will they change any of this? I don't really know, because it was a big talking point that the kind of NFL playoffs or whatever it was going on at the Kickoff Classic, that probably had some significant degree of impact on the viewership, especially on that Sunday, given the crazy games that were going on. So New York versus Los Angeles Thieves, that's a big game, gonna clash with the Super Bowl, right? So not exactly ideal. They should 100% reschedule those matches, says Mack. So, you know, who knows whether they'll actually do this. It's not even the thought process they have, right? Because at the end of the day, it's, well, the CDL's competing for attention. When the Super Bowl's going on, especially given those crazy playoffs, unlikely that it's gonna have no impact at all. Now, you know, how do they reschedule them, right? Do they delay them by a week? Because to be fair, I'm pretty sure there's an entire week off between the end of the qualifier matches in February and the start of the major. So it's not like just the next week the major begins. I'm pretty sure there's a week off there, which wouldn't usually be there, but I think maybe they could only get the venues for those dates or something like that. And therefore, there is technically another week if they wanted to delay games for them to do so. But I guess we'll see how they develop things on this front. This also from Arcitys, so is a Glide Bomb 5 or 7? We talked about this a few days ago, right? Should it be 5? Should it be 7? Some of the pros certainly disagreeing on this one. Exceed reckons, like, I got cooked for saying it should be 7 now that Flak is fixed, which I think, of course, it should be 7. It's meant to be 7, I'm pretty sure, in the rule set, but for whatever reason, it glitches in the CDL side and doesn't work. So, okay, classic stuff, really. From a Call of Duty Vanguard, baby, we're back again. This also from Simp, right? It kind of almost felt surprising in a way that Simp's favourite COD player growing up was Big Timer. Big Timer, to be honest, has got to be one of the always the right answers, right? Especially, like, I don't know, just so much great content coming out back in the day. Of course, Form was going to say Scump at the end of it. We'll talk about Form a little bit more later today, actually, because well, at least some update and potential as to what he might be doing in terms of his next Halo roster, right? At least in terms of making something happen after the Anaheim event. But yeah, definitely intrigued to your thoughts. Favourite COD player growing up? I mean, to me, I watched an awful lot of Scump back in the Black Ops 2 days, and yeah, probably it'd have to be Scump early on, frankly. I think it's difficult to beat that one. Obviously, a very generic answer, and I guess Big Timer can fit into a similar category as well. Just some of those early OpTic guys who are just fantastic. I mean, Nature, of course, deserves an honourable mention here as well, most certainly. But yeah, Formal and Scump definitely have made their opinions up, and of course, this just from finish off from Sib. The kickoff classic, pretty sensational finish up against Atlanta FaZe, but very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.